person that avoided might not think they did anything toward that other person at all. And then they might even have a little discrimination that might be going on in the workplace, and everybody might meet and have a donut or coffee, but that person might get this feeling that they are not accepted. And now they will then have some of these acts of prejudice where they might move to then do some physical attacks because what they have personally felt is going on in their life, that they went to school, they tried to assimilate, they learned the language of the dominant group, they're dressing like the dominant group, and they're still not being treated fairly. And then they might go out and then be in a postmodernist age, have some thoughts about something they see in cyberspace, Facebook or whatever, that might make them make a decision to go out and do a physical attack about some other attack that was done against them. So it becomes this kind of an integration of something that is going on that's an act on prejudice that moved into a physical attack by another person that might not think they did it, but they actually did it to that individual.
And so in a real sense, Doctor, we're saying that sociologically, that a person can not have a prejudiced bone in his body, but his relationship with other folks, the kind of conversations that he becomes involved in, can move him from that first act up to the last act simply by the environment and the things that he hears that are said in reference to that group or that individual. Is that what we're saying?
That's what we are saying, and we are not saying 100% of that group. We are saying that in that antilocution, going back to if we can just observe what's going on before us in a national level at political campaigns, how you might have an entire group that might get at the same group that would have done physical attacks. Number 4, Ku Klux Klan, David Duke. Others that will show up because they are feeling depressed within the economic system that they are in, and they are all at the same place. Some will lash out while some will not.
Okay, very good. And what we're going to do, we're going to take this second commercial break, and we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. A situation where he might run across that first stage, and by simply being in that group, he can move from one stage up to another, from not knowing anything about him to now you want to kill him. Is that I said that's a real progression.
And this is what I'm seeing with Donald Trump and his group. See, I don't think anything is wrong with Donald Trump. I think he knows that that group is out there, and then when he says that, his polls keep going up and up. So he started using that language over and over again.
Make
that's
that as a point. That's
a
point. That's a good point. Okay. Thank you and welcome back to the final segment of the show for today. The topic is Acts of Prejudice, Prescription for Racism. And we have with us to talk about acts of prejudice and the prescription for racism, Dr. EKSanford from Tennessee State University. And so, Dr. Sanford, let's see if we can finish this last segment by having you make some comments in reference to an individual who might be caught within that first act that you're talking about, and as he or she moves up and eventually move to the 5th act in which they are ready to exterminate an individual. Go and speak to it from that perspective.
And thank you very much. And that is indeed how Dr. Gordon Allport would see it. That first person that might have this feeling or dislike toward another group but wouldn't act on it could be potentially a part of going into membership or just going to a group, and when things are being said, they might listen to it and agree with it and vote for it, but a subgroup of that group might move on to the next level, and then the next level to the next level of physical attack, where they might make a decision to go out and do it. Now, this is where the prescription for racism of those earlier attacks, the listening audience need to understand. When that group of people start to go out and they seek out a group of people, whoever they might be, based on certain physical characteristics or where they might be socially located within a community, that they know they are targeting that group of people. Or if in a hiring process, they are not allowing a group of people based on the ethnic group that they have checked that they are, or gender that they are, then that's when the racism or the sexism enters into the discussion about the whole prescription of racism within the society in which we live in. Now, when we look in our larger problems of reoccurring patterns of, say, police officers that are disproportionately killing African American males, I want us to keep in mind this act on prejudice, because I think if we interviewed, say, any of the officers in the rank and file line, all of them would say, well, no, we would not go out and act toward any other citizen in any different way than we would another person. But out of that group, you can have someone that in their private life would avoid, and then in their private life would do some discriminatory acts. And this becomes a part of their subconscious, looking at the social psychology of it. And when they are out in the force, and then when they are out to stop someone, that individual may not be doing anything that is being degrading or not following the rules. Or even if they were not following the rules and you have to shoot them, do you have to shoot to kill, or could you shoot in the leg and they fall down and then they couldn't do anything? But is there something in that physical attack that emerges from how some of the preceding acts of prejudice may have been in the environment as you grew up that might cause you to then shoot to kill, or after you're down to continue to shoot 15 additional times?
And so in a real sense, if you've got a group, hypothetically, of 20 people, and as they move from one stage to another, you might have only, 15 move up to that second stage, and then 10 to that third stage, and 5 to that fourth stage. And that fifth stage, in which there is an idea of extermination, you have only 1 or 2 out of those 20, but all might be considered to be what? Prejudice, but they've moved from one stage to another stage.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And now, as we are seeing this radicalization of other groups that are probably experiencing within the